Well, welcome everybody to this is our monthly Vote Hope webinar, and we are doing it in collaboration with Earth Day 2020. It just so happened to fall around the same time, and we're like, why not? Why not do something together with Earth Day and celebrate it? Because, I mean, if you think about it, what we've been doing with the Vote Hope project is to put life into the earth and balance the energy of fear. So we have been doing earth work all along. And so it was an absolutely natural combination to put the two together. One little note, we will be doing this over the next month or so, is you might have noticed that we've started tweaking the name of that project just a little bit. So we used to call it Vote Hope 2020. And the original idea was, you know, we go on election day, with the understanding that that is going to be a day where fear is going to spike in especially this country. And we were going to do a global meditation on that day to balance the fear. But a couple of things have happened. One of them is that we could not get people to overcome the political assumptions of that day. You know, it was, and so what would happen is we would say, you know, it's Vote Hope 2020, it's on election day, but it's not political. That's how we had to introduce that project. And there were just some people, you know, we would say it's not political, and this is like, yeah, no, this is political. And so we decided to you know, with ease and grace, to make a couple of adjustments. And one of them was the day we're going to do the global meditation. We shifted that to 11/11, November 11th. So I don't know about you, but for me, 11/11, anytime I see a double one, a triple one, a quadruple one, a 10 times one, it brings me joy. I've trained myself to literally see it as that's my all is well number. And I know in a lot of traditions, 1/1 has a lot of significance, and it's all positive. It's a positive number. And so we decided, you know what, let's connect consciously up to that positivity and shift our global meditation to that day, November 11th. So if you have on your calendar that it is November 3rd, shift it to November 11th, and it's going to be at 11:11 Mountain Time or 1:11 Eastern Time. That's very convenient.
There's nothing wrong with doing the meditation on November 3rd either. You can do,
absolutely,
you can do both. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just the full coordination of the worldwide meditation. Yeah. And some of you may have seen that there are already global meditations happening, and people are really connecting to them and participating in them. And so we really want this to build up to that. And the reason why it is so far out is, for those of you who've done the meditation, you probably realize that these are frequencies that you need to get used to. Your body needs to get used to. And so there is some prep work that this time allows us to do, where we get the body and the nervous system used to running that kind of a high frequency, so that by the time that global meditation comes along, there is enough of us that have the ability to hold that frequency and broadcast it into that band that's circling the equator. And so that's why we've put it out so far. And, you know, we've gotten some comments is like, well, right now is when things are bad. You know, that's assuming that, you know, after, you know, next month, things are going to go back to normal. And from what we're understanding and from what you're going to be hearing today in the conversation, it's like, this is a longer haul. And so to have something towards the end of the year that we can do together, and that is powerful and impactful, and that will make a difference in the world, that's what we're working towards. So really doing this meditation as often as as you can. It's like, think of it as like, you know, you're practicing for an athletic event. You know, an athlete doesn't go out and, you know, goes for a thousand feet dash, 1,000-yard dash tomorrow. They practice and they practice and they get better and they strengthen their muscles until the time of competition. And so that is the image that you can use for this meditation. So anyway, so now the project is called Vote 11, no, I'm sorry, Hope. Get the brain. Yeah, Hope 1111 project. So Hope 1111. So that's what you're going to start seeing in our communication, and as we shift everything around. It's still the same meditation. It's still, we're doing the same thing. It's just we're opening it up to people in a different way, so that we don't get the resistances of the political issues. So anyway, so I just wanted to quickly let you guys know about that, and I welcome everybody who's can't come in the last few minutes. Welcome to this Earth Day Hope 1111 project collaboration. So I wish you guys could experience some of the prep of prepping for these kinds of webinars. I mean, you get an hour of us and the meditation and then you're done, but it's so fun to watch how Rennie and I interweave with what wants to show up. So, you know, I threw this idea out of, you know, let's do an Earth Day thing a few weeks ago. And then I threw out some ideas about, well, why don't we hear from the Earth on Earth Day and then get her opinion. And, you know, over literally the last, you know, week or so, it's so fun to watch him, because now he's been literally in contact with the Earth for the last week and is getting more and more information, has gotten more and more information, and that's what you're going to be getting in this hour today. And I'm looking at the clock and it's 1:11. There you go, all is well. And so you know, I don't know if you guys saw my blog that I wrote the other day, and I started it off with this question: when was the last time you truly, deeply connected with the Earth for real? You know, I've grounded 1,000 times, you know, with the meditations. Every meditation we do, every morning I wake up, I ground. And, you know, sometimes I do it with more presence than others. Sometimes I just, okay, grounding cord 200 miles in the Earth. Okay, I'm good to go, you know. And then there are other times, a few days ago, where I sent that grounding cord down and I so connected with the Earth. And I have this little image. If you guys remember in Avatar, you know, they use their cues, I believe that's how you pronounce it, to connect with nature, with their planet, with the plants on the planet, with each other. And it is an interweaving that happens that is such a deep connection that you start, it's almost like the Vulcan mind meld. You know, you start feeling each other's feelings and deeply, deeply connecting. And so I have this little image on my grounding cord that I keep practicing it. Shoot, I've had it and then I don't know why I can't remember this word. Tsahelus, the Tsahelu, the bond. And so I imagine that this bond, the cues come off of my grounding cord, and I create a Tsahelu, these bonds with the Earth. And I did this the other day, and it was so deep and so profound and so opening. And then, you know, I let that Earth energy come up the grounding cord and up into my body and out and into my biofield and start circulating. And the experience of connection that I had was so deep and so profound that it brought me to tears. And that is the kind of connection that we're inviting you to step into today. That you step into a listening. You know, it's one of our principles. It's the principle of listening. That is the guiding principle for today, where we, on this one day where humanity comes together globally to celebrate the earth. And normally we go out and we're in all activities and cleaning up our mess from last year, and we're all doing things. This year is different. We are all at home. And so what if we took this time to just be completely quiet, deeply connected with the earth right now, and listen to what she has to say, her point of view. What is her view on this pandemic? How does she see this time unfolding? What would she like us to know right now? And then in the balanced exchange principle that is in all of the universe has this principle of a balanced exchange for everything. And so normally humans go out into nature, and we go out and we go into the forest, and we take in that beauty. We get nourished, we get healed by nature, and then we go home and we feel much better. But what about then thinking about what can I gift back to the earth? What is the balanced exchange, the nourishment I received, what can I gift back? And so the meditation that we're going to be doing, as the second part of this webinar, that's our gift back to the earth. So really see it that way. So part one, let's listen to the earth. And part two, let's gift back to the earth with pure electrical life, or electrical life in its purest form, and be in that service place throughout this entire webinar. So I invite you right now to send that grounding cord down into the earth. Get yourself fully present here right now. Send it 200 miles into the earth. Lock on, and then let the earth energy come up into your body and circulate, and feel the nourishment of that as you let yourself get quiet and open and curious. And so for those of you who don't know me or know us, my name is Kirsten Liegman, and this is Rennie Davis, my husband and partner on this journey. Don't you say crime. We don't do crime here. And we are the founders of the Foundation for Humanity, and it is our mission, our passion to ignite, activate, and train the new humanity. And those of us who understand that we are at a choice point, and we can choose to either go down on the scrap heap of evolution, as Rennie likes to say, or we can make a conscious evolutionary leap, and to wake up 100% in this lifetime, and to take the steps to do that. And the framework and the practices and tools are all here. And so that is who the new humanity is. There is a significant number of us in this lifetime here with that life plan. And so that is who we are here to serve. And we are students in this just alongside everybody else. So with that, I am actually going to exit stage left. I am going to monitor the chats and the questions. So again, feel free to put any questions over there. And then towards the end of Rennie's talk, I'll come back in. If there's time for questions, we'll open it up to questions, and then we'll go into the meditation.
Okay, welcome everybody. This is the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. Oh my God, you think about the 50 years of Earth Days, really so many creative ideas and so many, it's really been impactful actually. I remember the time when people fly down the highway in their Ford, car and throw trash out the window, and now you have whole groups of people walking the highways picking up the trash. There's just been a lot of conscious raising from Earth Days. The thing is that during our lifetime, let's say start with the 50s, when the population of humanity was 2.6 billion people. In one lifetime, we've grown to really the numbers of 8 billion human beings. So 2.6 billion to 8 billion has pretty much suffocated the good work of all the Earth days. And we can all see it. I mean, our oceans are dying, our rainforests are in peril. The largest extinction of species in the past 65 million years is occurring right now in the present time. We've lost 60% of our wildlife since the 1960s. And we're in a moment. And so this day was a day that we just felt, let's, at Kirsten's urging, let's just listen. Rather than just make a list of all the things that we're going to do. Once again, let's just listen to the earth. Now, there isn't a science for what I'm about to suggest. And so, it took science a long time to even recognize that the earth was a living organism. I'm not aware of any science that has even theorized that the earth is also self-aware. What I mean by self-aware is that, if we were to say, have a chat here, you could talk to me and I could talk to you and we could listen to each other and have an exchange. So is that possible actually with the earth? I don't mean that we go out to our garden and talk to our plants and we feel good. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a completely new concept. It's essentially known as a feeling. Every feeling has a beginning and an end, and in between is this data. And the data is information coming from the one who's sending the language of feeling to another person. It's just that we haven't learned how to translate that data into our conscious level. Now, we probably are aware, most of us, that, every tradition that where people woke up when the sun came up and went to bed when the sun went down and lived by the cycles of nature and typically, walked the earth without shoes, they could feel the dirt, the soil, in their feet. The feet are the receptor site for the energy of the planet. There were always in those groups of people, shamans, medicine men, intuitive women, people who claimed they could talk to the earth, and many believed the earth talk back. So how this happened for me, today what we're going to do is basically invite the earth to join our event. And those of you that are sensitive to the energies should be able to feel this. It's really quite, the energy of the earth is just pure, unsullied innocence. And when it comes in at a conscious level, it's quite, it's subtle, it's beautiful, it's really beautiful. So if you can just, let yourself be open and relaxed, you may have, this is going to come right into your room, wherever you're sitting. We're going to invite the energy of the earth, the conscious level of the earth, to come in and actually answer questions that are pretty much on everybody's mind. What is this pandemic? Was this pandemic created in a laboratory in China by some plot of some country, or who created this exactly, from the earth's perspective? Did this come from the intelligence of nature? Is this a short-term thing like the whole human race wants to believe, where, somehow this summer or fall or pretty soon, it's all going to calm down and we'll go back to normal. Is that what we're in? What are we in here? What is this, you know? And this isn't my point of view or Kirsten's point of view. This is just whatever the earth wants to share. And so, you know how this happened for me. I mean, I was in business, basically. I consider myself a spiritual person. I did meditation. You know, I've been around the horn with lots of teachers. And a friend of mine was taking a small group into the bottom of the Grand Canyon, and he wanted me to consider coming on this trip. You know, I've never been to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, and I thought, well, that would be a delight, but you know, I'm way too busy to go take 5 days and go into the bottom. I don't think so, you know. So, but I kept, you know, mulling it over and realized, yeah, I could take 5 days out of my life. It's, you know, that would be a good idea. So I did it. I went to the edge of the canyon. I walked in. It took me about 7 hours to walk from the rim to the bottom of the canyon. And my friend had a relationship with the Havasupai Indians, who are the caretakers of that property, that land. And the particular gentleman who lived at the very last property on the Havasupai Indian side agreed to let us pitch some tents on his land. And so 5 days came, and basically I realized that there were mysteries in the canyon that I had no idea. I mean, I just knew I couldn't leave without spending more time. And so everybody packed up, and there was quite a bit of, you know, leftover, you know, it was pretty gourmet food. And so I was the, you know, recipient of, you know, quite a bit of stash. And I had my little tent there at the end of the Havasupai reservation. And I just stayed there, you know, without any expectation of when I was going to leave. 5 days turned into 5 months, and 5 months turned into 4 years. You know, so I lived at the bottom of the Grand Canyon for 4 years. I wasn't that I never came out. I did. I came out to get supplies. Sometimes I'd go visit some family, but basically this was my home. And you know, if you've ever done something like this, you know, gone into nature, just not talk to any human being, just you could say be in meditation, you know, just be quiet, listen. Kirsten's talking about listening. Just listen for, say, 12 days straight. You know, if you've ever done that, you know, you know from your own experience, it's really a life-changing experience. There are 5 major waterfalls in the canyon, and where I was staying, the furthest one away was, you know, if you just took your time, it was about an 8-hour hike. So I like to go there. But to go there was always a risk. I mean, it was you could spend the night, of course, outside, but the weather could change dramatically in the canyon, and you could find yourself, you know, not so well prepared, and you know, with no access to the internet or to weather reports. As I was listening, I wondered if it was possible to get a weather report from the earth about the weather in the canyon. And so usually for me, a question like that would be a fleeting thought. You know, I would think about it for a day or two and then, you know, move on to the next subject. But when you're in a place like the Grand Canyon, there you can basically focus on a thought for, you know, 30 days straight or 3 months in a row, you know, which is, I mean, that's your focus, that one thought. And when you do that, for me, I discovered, first of all, I discovered not only can I affect the weather with my mind, make rain, things like that, I can also, I can get a weather report from the earth. And so the discovery that I could learn about weather from the earth was just, monumental. I mean, the next question I had was, well, if I can get a weather report of the canyon, why couldn't I get a weather report from the earth of the whole planet? Now, the earth to me would be quite the authority on the climate change. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to, here's what we're saying, okay? And for those of you that are new to us for the first time, just bear with me. These are just letting everybody know our assumptions. The earth is completely self-aware. You can talk to the earth. The language of the earth is feeling. And it's actually possible to get a report on the pandemic from the earth. And so that's what we're going to do. And so I'm going to sort of serve as a medium, so to speak, of just bringing this through. It will be me speaking. And, and it's appropriate question, is the medium clear, or is this just Rennie science fiction? Because pretty much everything that we're going to learn today is not really established science. There are some theories in science beginning to percolate that will align with some of them. Most everything, though, is just completely a new world for humanity to hear this. And so there is one of the things that I discovered in the canyon is that, the way it is for us as an engineered reality is time and space. What I mean by that is we all know that there's a past, a present, and a future, but it's actually an engineered thingy to allow an awareness unit to have a sense of evolving. The actual natural order in the natural universe is simultaneity. Believe me, this is a really hard concept to get your arms around. So just bear with me for a minute. There's a reason why I want to bring this in, because the past, the present, and the future in simultaneity are all occurring at the present time. So it's possible to to go to the future and have the future see the present time. It's also possible to change the future by going to the past and changing your past. You can also bring information from the past into the present time. So, here I am, just kind of this modern, not too experienced, not too evolved human being sitting in the bottom of the Grand Canyon, for months on end, not talking to any human being, and realizing that there's a world of beauty and wonder, and wondering if anybody in human history has ever done this before me, because I am such a beginner here, And so that led me to discover that a long time ago, way back before agriculture, when human beings migrated, there were a group of human beings, I call them today earth whisperers, that they had a know-how that was just completely unique to the planet. And it was lost when agriculture began. And it was all about the earth. The earth just loved these people. And they loved the earth. And yes, they mastered the language of the earth, which is the language of feeling. They could move a tornado with their mind. The list of things that they could do. They could sit at the edge of a field and see, deer way off, maybe like 150 yards in the way, ahead of them, and then and roll out an energy body that it would be themselves in an energy body, roll it out of their body, and basically travel across the field without making a single sound, and go right up to the edge of those deer and just notice and observe their beauty from an energy U, and then bring all of that experience back into their physical body. Things like that. It was really, earth whisperers were, anyway, and there was one who started the whole thing, I once wanted to know what is your name? The original Earth Whisperer, back in the days when human beings migrated. He had the name, it was a he, and he had the name Whoosh Whoosh. Whoosh Whoosh, gave me this image of a person kind of walking or running through high grass, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. I don't know. That part's me. So anyway, so I really was curious how whoosh whoosh, standing in the shoes of simultaneity, we could get acquainted with whoosh whoosh, and we could discover, how whoosh whoosh went about this. I mean, in a way, he was like in the bottom of his Grand Canyon for his whole life. It wasn't just like 4 years, like some tiny little period. This was like, I mean, he devoted his life to this. And what he did was he spent time with things. He noticed his navel, and he tried to understand the navel and what his purpose was. And he went into the solar plexus region, and he spent months just feeling, not thinking, but feeling his solar plexus region until the solar plexus would start to energize. And he realized that the solar plexus feeling brain is really what it is. When it would activate, would tremendously increase his feeling ability. And so he loved the solar plexus. He realized it was just a treasure in the human body to basically activate the solar plexus feeling brain. So when the earth comes in, if you can do two things that Whoosh Whoosh is going to teach you today, and just let yourself do this, it's going to give your body the ability to fact check what's being said. So you might not start off just talking to the earth like we're talking here, but you can definitely get a yes or no. So for example, the earth says that the anger building up in cities right now is so intense that it can punch a hole through the ozone layer, causing the atmosphere to actually leak out of the containment of this system. So you could basically use the two steps that Whoosh Whoosh is going to share with you now, excuse me, and let yourself, just using these 2-1 steps, it's going to give you your own ability to basically just turn to your body and let your body give you, is that true? Yes or no? And have a bit of a way to approach some of this material that is so different and unusual with your own reading. Turns out that the body is animal, we may know that, but the intelligence of the body, which is not the awareness, I'm not talking about the awareness unit, I'm talking about the biological system. The intelligence of the biological system is plant. And so if we can activate the brain of the body, the solar plexus feeling brain, and access the command center of plant intelligence, which is located in the pineal gland, we can begin a journey ourselves like Whoosh Whoosh took. We can begin a journey ourselves into the world of earth whispering. Those of you that have worked with us for a while know that once in a rare while we do put on weekend sessions on earth whispering. And if you're drawn to that world, those are so valuable to come to. They're truly incredible. And they're incredible. Thank you, Whoosh Whoosh, really. It's because of Whoosh Whoosh discoveries himself a long time ago, being brought into the modern time, that's made it possible for earth whisperers to return in this time of earth rebalancing. It's really pretty cool. So I'm going to basically send you two energies now. I'm going to create a chemical medium. It comes off of a skin hormone, and it's going to come from my heart right into your solar plexus. Okay, so if you're listening to me right now, you can say no to this if you want. No, I don't want this frequency. That's fine. But if you want to basically receive the whoosh whoosh frequency for activating your solar plexus feeling brain right now, we're going to broadcast this right into your solar plexus. Now, it's subtle and you may or may not feel anything, but your body is super sensitive. Your body will record this frequency perfectly. So with practice over time, you can say, I want to access the frequency that activates my solar plexus feeling brain now. And this frequency, and it will not be off. It'll be exactly the right frequency. Will then go on and start to basically help your own solar plexus feeling body come to life, just like whoosh whoosh did. All right, so let's just close our eyes for a moment and just, shake it off, get yourself grounded, and a frequency, the frequency to activate your solar plexus feeling brain is being broadcast into your solar plexus now. Okay. And just know that it's there, and now you can return to it anytime you want. But you can use it when the earth comes in to basically just turn on your solar plexus feeling brain so you can feel what the earth is saying and get your own yes or no about anything that's going to be said.
Jennifer wants to know if this can help heal physical ailments.
It will help heal all parts of the body. This is the brain, there's a large concentration of nerves in the solar plexus area. And so if you think of the brain in the skull, this is another brain in the body. It really does exist. And it's a part of you that can basically be used feeling to intelligently. So it's the way you activate feeling, and feeling is a profound way to heal, hurts and pains and structural issues and kidney collapse and liver problems and adrenal overload and so many things. You can direct your solar plexus feeling brain to heal anything that you want to heal. All right, so the next frequency that I want to send to you now is another frequency. It's not the same one. And this is a frequency, again, that was discovered by Whoosh Whoosh, basically just spending eons in his skull. He discovered that there was a command center for plant intelligence in the body. We know today that it's the pineal gland. And the pineal gland is not fully open, but if you fully opened it, you would emanate a frequency, which is the frequency that I'm going to send to you now. So this is the frequency of the pineal gland fully opened in a human being. And it is open up, and it is being broadcast directly into your pineal gland now. And your body is recording this frequency perfectly, so you can return to this anytime you say, accessing the frequency that turns on my pineal gland now, or my plant intelligence now. Okay, so those are little gifts of Whoosh Whoosh that is going to serve you currently, in this Earth Day. This is a unique Earth Day. It may be a first in the world, really. We're just simply inviting the Earth to share whatever it would like to share about the present time. The pandemics, the outlook for civilization, Is the earth upset with the human race? We'd love to hear if there's any issues that the earth has with us, and whatever the earth would like to say. Okay, so the earth is coming in, and there is definitely a frequency here that is, it's just beautiful, really. Oh, I was born from a star in your solar system. There's two stars in your solar system. One, the solar sun, and one is a dark star, which simply means it's a star that's yet to ignite. And that would be what you call the planet Jupiter. So the Earth was born from Jupiter. It's not the only planet that's ever been born from Jupiter. Many planets have come from Jupiter. It's rare to find one like the Earth with its level of water. The closest possibility to a planet born from Jupiter that could become an Earth is Europa. So the Earth is a rogue planet. What that means is that it isn't locked into one orbit. It can consciously pick up and move. It can travel anywhere, and it has traveled many times between the orbit of Jupiter and the orbit of our sun. When the last time the Earth was orbiting the Jupiter was a time when dinosaurs walked the Earth. So you can be checking this, fact checking. did the Earth orbit Jupiter when dinosaurs walked the Earth? This is the Earth making a statement, and you turn on your solar plexus feeling brain, turn on your pineal gland, plant intelligence, and let yourself feel into any question you have and get your own yes or no. Okay, so in this time, the nature of the Earth is the nature of all intelligent entities in existence, which is balance. We're an early stage of awareness species, and we've not learned the concept of balance. Balance is everything to an intelligent entity. And so if you pictured a mother with a large number of children, okay, who is really, I'm not saying all mothers are this way, but many are. They're really, they love their children unconditionally. They might favor one or another, but they don't really, their love is unconditional. That's just all, I mean, even the so-called brat or the bad one or the one that basically is disruptive or whatever, they're the mother and they love their children. So if you can see the Earth that way, the Earth has no issue with any living being on Earth, including the human race. But when the what we might call an ecosystem gets out of balance, if there's one species that proliferates and causes an out of balance to occur in a particular area, the intelligence of nature is the balance. And so in that sense, a parasite, we'll call it, could be removed, but from the Earth's perspective, no, it's just the cycle of life. You basically, you're in this time and then you're in another time, but your awareness, your life force is unaffected. The Earth knows very well that in the history of humanity, no human being has died so far. It's very much aware of what humans have done. Humans, though, don't recycle like the cycle of life. where they basically take whatever they've learned, whatever they've thought, and give it back to the earth. They've created their own separate space called the dead zone. The dead zone is the place where people go when they die, and it's a human creation. And it doesn't, the earth knows all about it because it's inside the earth's body. It's in the atmosphere. It's in the stratosphere, which is the outer layer of the atmosphere. And so right now today, there's 28 billion human beings living in the dead zone. And so the earth doesn't judge humans for creating the dead zone and not giving back. And the earth doesn't judge that we're a building species that basically is moving like Pac-Man through the planet, devouring everything that we go. And now we've exceeded our load limit on the planet. But there are several things that are causing the earth to balance. And I'll just highlight what they are. So the first thing would be we'll start with volcanic action. Okay, the core of the earth is cooling, which could cause the earth to lose its atmosphere and go the way of Mars. And the reason the cooling is occurring is because volcanoes and the warming of the core are two things that go hand in hand. But when you live at a place like Mount Rainier and you have a $500,000 home, it might not even be conscious. It could be your subconscious or your unconscious mind is saying, don't blow, don't blow, don't blow. And basically, human thoughts have the power to put a cap on Mount Rainier. And so, yes, there's volcanic activity, but there is a buildup occurring right now in the earth because the earth needs to move volcanic action in order for the whole species, for the whole planet to have a future. So that would be one example. The second example would be you basically see fear building up everywhere on the planet. And then the fear can basically catapult into a burst of anger or hysteria. So it's a magnetic force. It builds up, and it literally can punch a hole right through the ozone. I mean, it can punch a hole through the ozone layer, and that is hard to repair. And so that is also threatening the planet's balance. It's threatening life itself on the planet. Now, I'm saying all this without wanting to in any way suggest a judgment is being made of humans, that humans don't have a right to exist, that humans don't have a right to their own journey to evolve. There's no attitude that humans are a big pest and we gotta basically end the human species. That's not where the earth resides. But the earth understands that balance is required to basically protect the ozone layer and to protect the cooling of the core. The greatest event that's occurring right now is the fear that's sweeping the planet. And the fear that's sweeping the planet is reaching a point where it's basically infused into the soil, into the water, and into the atmosphere. Now, the human body has cells in the skin, which we are sort of aware of. The Earth has cells in its body too. They're much larger. Using our system of measurement, they would be 18 inches on each side of a triangle. So at the points of that triangle, each side 18 inches long, is where the earth breathes. It's where the energy of the earth comes out. And it's a breathing mechanism of the planet. And the fear of the human race is basically stuffing and clogging those points of breathing. So it'd be like strangling someone, who can't breathe. It's a fairly serious situation, really, when it's a global event and it's affecting everything. And so, as a result, we've just come to a point after 50 years of Earth Days where we did our best. We did great things. We created our awareness, but the Earth's nature is to balance, and the Earth has begun to rebalance. So the origin of this pandemic is the Earth herself. Another way to look at it is the origin of this pandemic is humanity for its out of balance state. And so it's a situation where the intelligence of nature is just doing what it does, which is to bring balance to the planet. It honors and protects all life. It doesn't basically say humans are superior to this species, to this ant, and therefore step on the ant and celebrate humanity's growth and consumption, when the growth and consumption is destroying the resource base of the whole planet and life for all human beings. And so we're in a moment where the rebalancing has begun. And as much as, I'm with everybody else, I would love to basically come out of my basement and be able to socialize again. But I also am aware, well, I'm just saying the Earth, this is just the beginning. This is not the end. This is not going to end. And, I've been sharing in webinars for probably 3 years that something is coming in the early part of 2020, and it's going to basically just keep building into a cascade of calamities in 2022. I'm not the only one who can step into the shoes of simultaneity. There's been many people all through the ages who have been able to see events in the future. You can check it out for yourself. Not that they're not always accurate, but so many of them are really, the ability to basically predict kind of perfectly the time of World War II from 500 years in the past is impressive. And there's lots of examples like that. Why? Because simultaneity really is the natural order of things. And this really is the Earth basically sharing with you that we're in a moment now where basically balance is going to come to the planet. And you, as a human being, have an opportunity you just choose, that's all. And in the eyes of the Earth, there's no right or wrong. You can basically go into depression, give up on humanity, this is the worst of times, choose to go into your despair and stress and fear. And quite honestly, at this stage of awareness, that is going to be the choice of most human beings. But there is a group of human beings who have come here. We're about 5% of the human race that are choosing to create the future of this planet. And that is going to require a breakthrough in awareness, a new state of being, a completely new understanding about everything. So it isn't a time to basically heal the existing civilization and prop up our unsustainable methods and return to normal again. Anybody that wants to try to rise to the occasion and change the outcome and do it through politics or change the institutions, certainly I cheer everybody on, but it's a much deeper thing that's happening. We are going to basically come to a new beginning. We're going to cut the Gordian knot on every unsustainable practice on Earth, and we're going to re-script. We're going to write a new human story, starting by changing ourselves. There have been movements all through history that have set out to change the world. The Renaissance changed the world. The American Revolution changed the world. The 60s changed things dramatically, but all movements in the past have never had this one quality, which is it's the fundamental requirement is that we change ourselves. It was always like, if I could just change them, he's the problem. Over there, that's the issue. No, the problem, it's not a problem. It's just a new stage of awareness is being called for. And the earth is inviting earth whisperers today to basically align with the agenda of the earth, which is to rebalance and to basically create a new world. Is this the end of humanity? Not if the new humanity makes the choice to proceed and create a future. So here's the spectrum of how the earth sees it. The pandemic is the beginning of the balance, the balancing, and it ends in an event whose timing is up to the earth. I can't tell you what exactly the timing will be, but here's how it works. The warming up, which is occurring, is going to draw oceans of water into the atmosphere. And one day it's going to start to rain, and the rain is going to turn to snow. And it will snow, and when it's 2 feet or 3 feet or 4 feet deep, no one's going to see that as any particular issue. We've had snows like that before, but this is a snow unlike anything that anyone has ever experienced as humans. Okay, it just keeps snowing, and it will snow nonstop without let up for 40 feet. And so the ice age is coming in a way that will just come out of nowhere, unprepared. Science has not expected it to the earth. The warming up and the cooling down are actually just one cycle. To the earth, technically, we're in an ice age right now today. And so the areas from Arizona to the equator and an equidistance on the other side are going to be safe. Okay, the rest of the world is going to be snow and ice, and basically the new humanity is going to set up in an areas from Arizona to the equator and on the other side, and it will be there that the future of humanity will emerge. So I know it's a lot to take in on Earth Day, but this is the view of the earth. And rather than feel depressed or overwhelmed, or you might just take the perspective of whoosh whoosh, which is just to let yourself feel the beauty of rebalancing. Let yourself feel the beauty of a new human being emerging in an age of extinction. Let yourself realize that this is the generation that's going to create the future of the human species, and that you are choosing to be part of that generation. Okay.
There was one question from Jennifer that said, if wind and sun power still relies on fossil fuels and biofuels is destructive to tree forests, what does the earth want us to do to balance the use of energy sources?
Yeah, there's a group of human beings that have been here for a while. They kind of got some notoriety in a way with the birth of Nikola Tesla, that basically have produced a field of technologies that they're not incremental advancements on existing know-how. These are people that are like Mozart. I used to wonder, thinking about Mozart at age 6, his hands are flying across the page. He can barely keep up with himself. The first draft is the only draft to produce a sonata that stands before the critics for 300 years. How is he doing that at age 6 exactly? And I used to ask my technology friends that, and they would always say, well, he's a child prodigy, which yes, he is. But the fact is that Mozart had help. And these inventors are similar. They wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning with a full-blown, detailed engineering design that they're able to write down, and then create something that is a product that sits on their bench and runs, and it typically defies the laws of science. It's absolutely, destroys the second law of thermodynamics. It's an over unity device. You put, here's the energy that is required to turn on a 100-watt bulb, and basically you're producing the heat of a 1,500-watt electric heater. If you basically went to the patent office and tried to say that exists, you could be arrested. It's absolutely forbidden. You can't claim that, but it exists, and it can be demonstrated that it exists. So this is a time when we're going to bring those types of technologies forward too. So I'm not saying that solar and wind might not have a role, but these are so beyond anything. The problem with solar is, what about the material that's left over? So everything has to be recycled. If we're going to re-script and write a new human story, and start all over again, there's no compromise. There's no little bit fudging a little bit here, fudging a little bit there. No, this is a completely new way of living that is 100% aligned with the intelligence of nature. Technologies fit into that, or they're discarded. There's nothing to do with how much money anybody can make. It has everything to do with creating a new human Earth Accord. And so energy is available. You could dig into the ground to basically make a basement for a home, and then take the dirt and compact it into blocks that are twice as strong as cement with technologies that we have, and basically build the house out of the dirt that comes from the ground or from the landfill waste. And the list of just spectacular discoveries like that, they're all here, they all exist, and it's time for a new humanity to basically bring them forward and showcase to the whole world that these things really exist. This is a time of hysteria and fear, and for us, it's a time to birth a hope and a vision where people can live and thrive. Any region on Earth does not have to struggle and go into hardship if they will adopt the principles of our New Living Showcase. So we need to set it up and do it and show it can be done. And then basically everybody is going to be choosing. That's all. It's going to get bumpy. If you're riding down the highway here and you hit some bumps in the road, it's rough. And then just ahead of the bumps is not just everything returns to normal, it's pretty severe potholes. That's what we're heading into here. So I'm trying to say the event of calamities is 2022, and this is 2020. Okay, so give you a picture of what's coming. And so what it comes down to is choice. You can choose to basically step into your beauty. You can basically step into the magic of flow. You can live by universal principles. You can basically see this as an opportunity to create a new human being in yourself, or you can live in the victim and the despair and the poor me and just giving up completely on the human race. That's the choice that people are going to, and everybody's going to be making a choice. The one thing about this time is no one's going to be able to sit on the fence. You have to get off the fence. Why? Because we're at a crossroads of evolution. This is all about evolution. The only way to understand the time in which we live is to see through the eyes of evolution. And I am talking about everything human is contained in chromosome 23. The whole development up to chromosome 22 was non-human. Then came humans, chromosome 23, and we are now in the culmination of chromosome 23. And for the humans to have a future, they choose to evolve. And those that don't choose to evolve, no one's going to die. they're just all just going to basically be packaged up and put into their best ideal of their world of what they want to live in. You know, it's a change like no other. We have no concept of this, no experience of this, but it's, you know, once you tune into how incredible the moment is, you just can feel thrilled and ecstatic, really, that this is what we've all been waiting for. How many of us are there that are ready to evolve, want a journey to evolve? When we do a survey of the whole planet, and that's the 8 billion human beings, it's roughly 5% of the human race is now in a place. And you think about that, it's many millions of people. So 400 million people, it's not too bad to really create a new nation on Earth that creates the future of the human race.
Okay, so we need to shift.
Okay.
Actually, so there was one question, and I'd like you to embed that into, you know, the next, what we're doing next, which is the meditation.
Oh, yeah, right,
so I'd like you to just take like literally 2-3 minutes just to explain, so if there's new people, to explain, you know, the frequency of life that we're putting into this and how that is so valuable for the earth.
Right.
And there was a question here from Rudra, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, that says, are you talking about the frequencies you hear in your ears, like the ringing sound? Yeah. So maybe you can sort of, but keep it fairly short because we're a little past our witching hour.
So one of the things that is really called for right now for 2022 is divine intervention. And the reason is that of all the things, I mean, what are we focused on right now? Okay, we're focused on, number one, the pandemic, number two, the economic shutdown that's occurring as a result of the pandemic. And then some of us that are paying attention are also starting to notice the rumors of war. Okay, so in other words, we're blaming each other as nations for the pandemic, but rumors of war are developing. And basically, again, stepping into simultaneity, unless something changes now, then we will see global war in 2022. And so the universe has made a gift to the new humanity. And the gift is that we need an energy that cannot be compressed by thought and turned into the density of fear. So we need a energy that's impervious to fear. Now, according to Einstein, who said E equals mc squared, such a thing could not possibly exist. According to that formula, everything is one energy that can be compressed into everything that we see in the material world. But there is an exception to E equals mc squared, and that's the radiation of a central sun. Doesn't exist anywhere in this galaxy, but traveling with the mind, you can travel through the galaxy at the speed of thought, and basically in your energy you, just like whoosh whoosh taught us, with your energy you basically record the frequency of the radiation of a central sun outside of our galaxy, then bring it back, all the way back onto the earth, which would be a first, and then finding the best recording equipment known to our current understanding, record perfectly the frequency of an energy impervious to fear. It feels like complete purity. I mean, it's a super purity. It's a total purity. And it's so, you can image it in as you're standing in front of a central sun and just this beautiful, I mean, it's the lightest thing in existence. So it's subtle and it just comes through you and it dissolves emotional debris. And you can do everything you want to with it, but you cannot compress it into fear. It's impossible. So what we've done is basically create a band around the planet at the equator. It's just below the stratosphere. It's 25 miles in width. And it's right there today and it's circling the planet and it's maintaining the balance of the, I mean, as the fear builds, it's balancing the fear. It's impervious to fear. It protects the balance of life. It's not, it's a gift of the universe itself. And it's starting in 2020. That's our Boat Hope 1111, or our Hope meditation, rather, 1111. But it's going to continue to build until 2022. And we're going to balance the rumors of war, okay, to basically be a countervailing force for that. So it probably will take human beings a century to really understand the significance of this discovery. It's a very big deal, and you're going to experience this in the meditation. So the meditation that you're going to hear in just a minute basically has perfectly embedded this frequency. And if you spend time with it, I mean, truly, and get into it, you'll see for you get your own evidence. You'll see for yourself that this is a, I mean, let's say you had a childhood abuse and you just can't seem to find it, you know, or uncover it or process it out. It just keeps, you know, it's there, but how do you get at it? You know, just bring in this frequency. This frequency will basically dissolve a childhood abuse at 2 years old in yourself over time with practice. And the emotional debris that we pick up every time we watch television, it's just basically, it's like taking a purity shower after you watch the news of a White House press conference. It's really, it's a big deal, you know. It's really it's a great gift. Okay, hope meditation is nothing to scoff at. It's something to understand. You know, it really does exist. It really is here. It's a real deal. You know, you just have to get your own evidence for that, and use the tools of Wish Whoosh to help you basically really tune in into the feeling stage of what this frequency is. You know, if you want to navigate this time of the pandemic and the economic collapse that is coming, and everything else that's going to be coming after that, you know, this is a gift to give to yourself.
All right, with that, let's take a quick 5-minute break, turn around, and then we'll be back here to do the meditation together. And so with that, I want to thank you all for coming to our little Earth Day celebration, Earth Day 2020. And yeah, if you don't have the meditation yet, I highly recommend you get it and play it for yourself on a regular basis. Hopefully you got a little experience of the subtle energy that is so profound over time. So, and you can get it through ffh.org, so Foundation for Humanity, ffh.org. You'll see Hope 1111 Project at the top, and just click on that and you'll get it that way. So with that, I wish you an amazing rest of your Earth Day today. Keep seeing if you can stay in this frequency all day long. Keep connecting in, keep getting present. Your body has this frequency now. And so you can keep gifting the earth this all day long. So with that, I wish you all lovely rest of the day and week, and we will see you soon. Take care, everybody.